All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to my very late AP Stats, Extracurriculars, and More video that some of you have been asking about in my previous college decision reactions video. In this video, I'll try to talk about things in my college application that got me into the colleges that I got into. Now, if you haven't watched my college decisions video yet, I suggest you watch that first. Now, this video is about a month and a half late because originally I was supposed to actually upload this video a week after my college decisions reactions video, but I was too busy that week. Then I went to China for about 40 days. So yeah, now I'm back and I guess I'm making this video. Better late than never, I guess. So yeah, this video is probably going to be very long and there's probably going to be a whole lot of yap. So I'll try to segment this video into timestamps. So for example, if you don't want to listen to my yap about my honors, or if you don't want to listen to all of my grades, you can just skip that part and go to a section that you actually want to watch. Alright, what basic info do they want? Well, for starters, as you can see, I'm a guy. I'm a male. I'm also an Asian male. Why am I pointing to that? More specifically, a Chinese Asian. I only say that because they do ask that on the Common App. So yeah, more context, I guess. I live in a two-family household with no siblings, and actually both parents went to college and got some sort of graduate degree. So yeah, I'm basically the opposite of a first-generation student. I live in a middle-class family, I would say. I'm agnostic, and as I mentioned in a previous video, I go to a moderately sized public high school here in Massachusetts, which is also a blue ribbon school. On to the real shit. Time for some quick facts. For all of the schools that I applied to, I listed myself as a linguistics major. And for the schools that didn't have a linguistics major, such as Notre Dame and Princeton, I applied as a classics major. So about the school, our class size was about 317. We did not rank, so no valedictorian or salutatorians here. Additionally, I got a 4.2 out of 4.5 GPA weighted. Our school does not do an unweighted GPA out of 4, so I'll explain more about the 4.2 later. And finally, for the SAT, I got a 1530 super score, a 790 in math, and a 740 in English reading and writing. So what does a 4.2 weighted mean at our school? Well, funnily enough, it translates to an A in honors classes, which means starting from freshman year up to the end of junior year, counting all of the grades in all of my classes, I averaged an A in honors classes. If you're still confused about what that 4.2 means, and if you're wondering about my course selection, my course rigor, and the grades I got, well, I'm actually going to read my transcript out for you starting from freshman year going to senior year. So in grade 9, freshman year, I took honors English, which I got an A in, Latin 2, which was a college prep class that I got an A+ in, French honors, which I got an A+ in, world history honors, which I got an A in, honors math 109, a class that combined 9th and 10th grade math into 1 year. I got a B+ in that class, and finally in honors bio, I got an A. In 10th grade, I took writing and American experience honors, which was basically English honors. I got an A- in that. I took French honors, which I got an A in, Latin 3 honors, which I got an A+ in, world history honors, which I got an A in, honors pre-calc, which I got an A in, and finally chemistry, I got chemistry honors, I got an A in, engineering design, which was a college prep class, which I got an A- in. In junior year, I took AP Lang, which I got an A in, French 4 honors, which I got an A in, AP Latin, which I got an A+ in, A-Push, which I got an A in, AP Stats, which I got an A+ in, and then Honors Physics, which I got an A in. For senior year, I will read out the classes I took and the grade I got at the end of the first semester because those are the grades that the colleges saw on my application. So I took AP French, which I got an A minus in after a semester, AP Physics, which I had an A plus in after a semester, AP Human Geo, which I had an A plus in, online multivariable statistics, which is classified as a college prep class, even though it's after AP Stats. I got an A plus in that. Lit and Film Honors, which I got a B plus in, and then Web Design Honors, which I got an A plus in. Yeah, so as you may have noticed, I took 2 foreign languages instead of 1, which the school requires, just because it better fit with my narrative as a linguistics major. Yeah, try to take the hardest classes in your school, the honors, the APs, the IBs if you have it, and, get good grades in them. So now on to APs. Now, as you may have noticed, I did not take an AP class up until junior year because my school does not allow you to take AP classes up until sophomore year, and even then, they only allow you to take APCS, which I didn't take. So, yeah, everyone at our school starts taking AP classes in junior year. So I took a total of 7 APs through the school. Those are AP Lang, AP Latin, APUSH, AP Stats, and then AP French, AP Human Geo, and AP Physics C Mechanics. On top of that, I self-studied 3 APs by my own. Those are AP Calculus BC in sophomore year, and then AP Chinese in sophomore year, and then AP Spanish Language and Culture in junior year. Now on to the scores. In sophomore year on AP Calculus BC, I got a 5. Also in sophomore year, AP Chinese, I got a 5 as well. In junior year, in AP Latin, I got a 4. In APUSH, I got a 4. In AP Stats, I got a 5. In AP Lang, I got a 4. And then for AP Spanish Self-Study, I got a 5. And for the senior year APs, AP French, AP Human Geo, and AP Physics C Mechanics, well, those scores haven't come back yet, so yeah. Now, a thing to keep in mind is that your AP scores don't really matter that much in the college admissions process. What I mean by that is getting a good grade in the AP class you take is way more valuable than simply just getting a good AP score on the exam. Exam scores are more for redeeming college credit rather than being a significant part of your college admissions process. What colleges are really looking for is any score above a 3. So if you get a 4 or 5 on the exam and you do really well in the class, then you're all set. Now on to honors. All right, so my first honor is the National Latin exam. Now, if you have won multiple awards within a single organization or a single exam, list all of the awards you got in that exam under one honor on your app like I did. So in the National Latin exam, I had 1 maximum cum laude and then I put my 3 gold medals I got in the National Latin Vocabulary exam on this honor as well. And then finally, my perfect score I got on the Latin 3 National Latin exam. The second award I had was Les Grands Concours, or the National French exam. It's like their little French way of saying that. You see a pattern here? Now, I had a platinum medal or a perfect score, and then 2 silver medals I listed on this honor. Now, I won the platinum medal back in freshman year, but obviously I didn't list that on my app. Your goal is not to be transparent, but to paint yourself a good enough picture to get in. The third honor I had on my list was the Massachusetts State Convention. Now, I was a state champion with Winchester in 9th grade and 11th grade, and in 10th grade, I was in 2nd place in the state. So it is a team award, but nonetheless, it is a award I put on my app. My fourth honor is the National Spanish exam. I won that shit twice, once in 10th grade, once in 11th grade. I don't know, I just turned into like 2012 Messi whenever I took national language exams for some reason. And finally, my last award is the Mass Seal of Biliteracy with Distinction. I got this award in my junior year, even though it is a state-given award to seniors to put on their diploma. Now, I always took 1 year above in Latin, so that's why I took this biliteracy test in junior year rather than my senior year, so I was able to put that on my app. Now, what I will say about honors is that they're not very guaranteed. A lot of these awards are given because of a judge's opinion or based on your performance in a competition or national level exam. What I mean by that is that not everyone who applies to college will have a huge stack of honors under their belt. I just so happen to have some honors under my belt, but if you're someone without that many honors, do not panic. Do not worry about that. In my opinion, your ECs are way more impactful. These awards are sort of like something to spice everything up. Now, obviously, if you won, Regeneron national finalist, or if you qualified for the U.S. national math team, then, well, welcome to MIT, I guess. All right, enough with the awards. Now time for the extracurriculars. Yay. So activities will go from 1 to 10, 1 being the most important activity and 10 being a less important activity, but nonetheless still important. My first activity is a research project I pursued starting from the spring of my sophomore year and going up into the winter of my junior year. It is research done on the origins of the Basque language. So basically for this activity, I traveled to both Boise, a place with a large Basque diaspora, and the Basque country itself to interview people, interview professors on the origins of the language, and eventually I wrote a 10,000 word paper that I published into the Journal of Student Research. Unfortunately, that company sucks, and you probably can't search that paper online, so yeah. My second activity is very similar to my first activity. It is another research project done during my junior summer. This time it is on indigenous language revitalization. And for this project, it's very similar to the Basque project, in which I interviewed a lot of Native American tribal members and professors about linguistic and cultural revitalization. And once again, I wrote an 8,500 word paper that I submitted to the Journal of Student Research. I don't think it got published, but once again, I will post a link in the description. Third activity is the leadership I held within the Junior Classical League chapter at my school. I was the treasurer of the club in junior year and then a president in my senior year. If you don't know what the Junior Classical League is, it is an organization around the country that promotes the study of classics. It's similar to how HOSA promotes health stuff, and then DECA would promote business stuff, something like that. Fourth activity, I was the founder and president of the World Cultures Club at my school. I founded this club in 9th grade, and so I was the president for all 4 years. We did a lot of fun stuff like create 2 murals for the town and then a documentary promoting the multicultural aspect of our local area. So for my fifth activity, I did something quite interesting. I put down my self-study of foreign languages such as Spanish, French, Latin, Greek, Ancient Greek, and Portuguese. I put down that I self-studied Latin to be 1 grade above school level, and also I self-studied Spanish to get a 5 on the AP Spanish exam. I also put down that I self-studied Ancient Greek and Portuguese languages that are not offered at my school. My sixth activity is being a volunteer tour guide at the Massachusetts State House. My seventh activity is volunteering to be a audiobook editor at the Perkins School of the Blind. My eighth activity I actually did in Boise. I was a volunteer at the Basque Museum and Cultural Center there, and also a volunteer at the Basque Festival that was going on in the weeks I was there. My ninth activity was volunteering for the Winchester Historical Society, my town's historical society. And my final activity is art. Yes, I am an artist. I love doing art, but unfortunately it didn't make a big part of my application because it didn't really fit in with my narrative of being a linguistics major. So yeah, as you can see, my extracurriculars were a mix of research, volunteering, leadership, and club activities at school, and then hobbies. As you may have noticed, a lot of my extracurriculars were language-based. Basque language, indigenous language, self-study of language. This is because these activities fit my narrative of being a linguistics major. So yeah, if I had one piece of advice I would give to y'all about making your college apps, it is to build a narrative around something you are talented, passionate, and good at. It will really make you stand out, and it is way better than having 100 different activities and 100 things you're somewhat interested in. If you do a research project like mine, you wrote a paper, or maybe you made some kind of physical project, getting it published isn't very important. It's more important to have the research done rather than having it published. People overhype, the concept of being published in the eye of the admissions officers. Just a reminder, if you're trying to be competitive and apply for schools like T20s, then you must fill all 10 slots with meaningful activities. Just something that has to be done, no sugarcoating. So firstly, do not prestige max. I know I did that a lot. I applied to the best colleges in the nation, but if I were to give advice to you, don't make prestige the only factor while deciding what colleges to apply to. It is definitely an important factor, but it shouldn't be the only factor you consider. Consider whether or not you fit in with the school you're applying to, its social life, and just other factors such as facilities, living, cost, other things such as that. Secondly, trust the admissions officer's opinion. Look, these admissions officers are trying to see whether or not you fit in with the school you're applying to, and they will give rejections, waitlists, and acceptances based on that. I didn't believe this either. I thought that admissions officers just cut people mercilessly because maybe their extracurriculars were not enough, maybe they had a skill issue, or maybe they just didn't cure cancer or something, I don't know. But after reflection, I realized, man, these admissions officers damn know who I am, and they will know who you are. Trust that the admissions officers will make the best effort to read through your app thoroughly and try to get a thorough understanding of who you are, whether you fit on campus, and then they will make the decision based off of that. Look, these people are very experienced at doing this. Some of these people have been doing this for years, so trust the process. Well, there is a hell of a lot of video clips in my camera roll, so I don't know how long I've been yapping for, but it seems to me that I've been yapping for a long time, and I'm done with my college yap. Yeah, my process is over. If you want my writing, if you want my Common App essay, I guess just ask. I'm free to share it. If you want more additional college advice, well, don't ask me. Ask someone more qualified in the field. Maybe a Rishabh Jain, maybe a Preaching P, maybe A2C Reddit if you're into that shit. This channel isn't like a college advice channel. It's supposed to be for other shit, I guess. So, yeah, my process is done. Wish you guys all the best on your college application process. And yeah, peace out. See y'all soon.